Hello and welcome back. My name is Jessica Darling and I'm here to paint with you, so buckle up for a ride and subscribe if you haven't already. Otherwise, welcome back. So today's colors, we're going to be using black, white, blue, yellow. We're going to make green, a light green. It's going to be a really good time, and we're going to make another Halloween cat this week because I loved how the first one turned out so much that I wanted to do another one, but with a different variation. So we got our colors, we got our palette, water, everything we need here. I'll be using, for this tutorial, like with all other tutorials, I'll be using a 1-inch paintbrush. This is approximately a 1/2 inch, maybe a little smaller, and a 1/4 inch, and fine. With the fine paintbrush, you're welcome to replace that with a Sharpie. You would probably need a white and black Sharpie for what we'll be doing with this today. Otherwise, you could also use a toothpick or Q-tip or something like that to make different textures. All right, without further ado, let's get started with making green. How do we make green? That's a really good question. Let's start with yellow and blue. Huzzah. Okay, so we're gonna start off with yellow and blue, mix that together, and we're gonna do a nice, I wanna do like a sea foam green color. Looks like I have a little red in that, but that's okay. Because I kind of thought it would be fun to do a whole green theme, have the cat's eyes green, and have them really pop. And then the background's green. We'll tie it all together. So I'm just mixing this up. Yes, once again, I'm Jessica Darling. I do paint tutorials, and my main goal with this, as we cultivate a community together, is to keep things fun, keep things playful, and not too serious, because what I really want to know is, what is art? You know? Art can be anything. It doesn't have to be so serious. It's meant to be fun. It's meant to be expressive. And that's really my goal here. So I'll have a dark green, and then this is gonna be like a really light green. I'm not even gonna mix it all the way. It's all good. I'm gonna grab my 1-inch paintbrush, get a little wet, and we'll start with making the corners green. I'm honestly probably gonna mostly just have it be like a seafoam color, like a really light teal seafoam green color, so, but we'll see what this looks like. I'm gonna grab this one. I personally like it when my background is just kind of like a very organic, free-flowing, carefree kind of background, so I don't really worry too much about it. I just try to get a good layer of paint down. I'll be doing Halloween and Halloween themed pictures all September and October. Moving into fall themed pictures in November. So if you like stuff like that and you like to do themes, these are great to do solo with friends, or even if you have like little kids at home. I feel like they're easy enough for almost anyone to do it. And who cares if they don't turn out exactly like mine. So if you like content like that, definitely subscribe. And we have our first layer. So I like what this looks like. I want to let this completely dry. If you are about as impatient as me, someone with lots of Aries aspects in their chart, I just like to use a blow dryer, use it on a cool setting to help this drying process go faster. It's gonna take anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes for the first layer to dry. So however you're gonna do that, do it. You could just have a snack, you could have a drink, you could blow dry it, whatever you wanna do. I will see you guys back here when the background is dry. Let's get started with the first layers of Miss Kitty. I'm gonna grab black, and we're gonna do it in a very dark charcoal. So I will need black in one, and I'll need white in the other. We're gonna grab that, approximately a 1/2 inch brush. If you have it, get it a little wet. I'm gonna pull a little bit of white and then black, just do a very dark charcoal. The head is gonna be off to the center. So if you divided your canvas in quarters, the head's kind of gonna be in this bottom quarter. So we'll just make a full circle here. Would you look at that? I didn't even let my canvas fully dry. It's all good. We're gonna have 2 paws. Actually, I'm gonna pull mostly white. This is just the base layer. So 2 big paws right there. So we're doing a circle. So right now we have a big circle and we have 2 little circles on each side of the face. These 2 small circles should be approximately the same size. And then we're gonna go with the hat. I'm gonna grab this dark charcoal and I am going to make the brim. The brim's gonna be coming from this quarter, from the floor up and down and around. So we kind of have like a very organic snake shape here. And the brim's gonna go up and around this way. So it's kind of like a very strange oval shape. Let's do the part of the triangle shape off the head, which is gonna be right over the cat's head. It's gonna be going this way, up, and over, a nice triangle. And then we'll just fill all that in. And this little area, we're gonna actually have it come down. This will be black because this is kind of the back side of the hat down here. So just keep that in mind. It's kind of going back around the cat's head. But the idea is that the cat's kind of hiding under this big giant witch's hat. So, oops. I'm gonna put a little water on my brush. And you can imagine I'm gonna grab a little more of a gray so I can just kind of keep these 2 sections separate. So this is gonna be the top part of the hat, and underneath the darker part will be the bottom. So I'm gonna use mostly like a light gray just to differentiate those 2 sections. Okay, so we have our triangle, we have this oblong shape, and we have 3 circles underneath. So we have our first layer of the hat. Now we're gonna go ahead and make the cat's behind. I'm gonna also use gray for this just so I can get all of these different base layer shapes straight. But basically all we're gonna do is lay down the layer. We're gonna do a big half circle across and stop right behind the hat. It's kind of like the cat is crouching down, hiding under the hat, and it's about to pounce out. And the tail will be going up and off into the picture, so we won't actually be seeing the very top of the tail, but you could just do a wiggle line down. This is where the tail is gonna be. This is our first layer. Looks pretty good, looks pretty abstract, and we're gonna let this layer dry really good. So I'll see you guys in about 10 to 15 minutes. We're gonna clean off this paintbrush really good and grab just white. I'm gonna make a nice, really big almond shape for the eyes. The eyes are really gonna be a main focal point of our whole piece, so 2 almond shapes. They can even go off the head a little bit, kind of like Pete the Cat style, at least at first, and then we'll make them look all pretty and sassy. So yeah, this will be the whites of the eyes. 2 eyes that are approximately the same shape, and then we'll need to just let this dry. I'm gonna lay down where the nose is gonna be. The nose is gonna be an oval. I mean, even if these eyes are just oval shaped, that's fine. The nose is gonna be an oval about right here. I'm gonna clean this off again. Do a black circle under. That's the muzzle part of the cat. Two circles under. We have to kind of go around the paws because the paws are going to be hiding part of that muzzle. So you don't need to go on there too much. Let's give that another really good clean. Okay, and I think we'll do these front paws last just in case we make any mistakes. We can go over it and those paws will be in the forefront. So actually I'm gonna clean up this chin area. This chin I think will be kind of a white. So I'm gonna do like a gray right there. All right, let's get this hat all settled in. I want it to be a gray top. I think I'm gonna grab a really light gray and just kind of add some highlights in the back down here with the sharp edge of this brush, and one to go up to help define where the top of the hat is. I'm also gonna go along this edge, and I'm going to etch in where this kind of ribbon will be that goes around. So we'll have the ribbon facing going down and around this way. So we want to imagine it is 3-dimensional. We're kind of carving around the hat. Okay. I'm going to carve around the hat. This will help give it more of a cone shape. So I'm just using the flat edge of my brush And I'm doing some downward strokes with a very light gray. And then I'm gonna do that this way. And don't worry if it feels too light. I am gonna go through and blend black in, so it'll be like a nice dark charcoal color. But if we don't have this kind of alternating shadow and highlight, it will just look very flat. And I mean, it is a cartoon, but this will help give it a little more character and expression. And speaking of expression, please, if you're doing my video and you paint something beautiful, I would love to see it. And you can use the hashtag Jessica Darling Studio, which I'll put on the screen right now. And you can use that hashtag so I can see it, hopefully. I know I definitely am following it on Instagram. Okay, I'm gonna do the same pattern, sorry. Please hold around with the black and just kind of blend it in a little bit. So I totally believe that all of your paintings are gonna be beautiful and they're gonna be expressed differently depending on who you are, and it's not a good thing. It's not that some are gonna be better than others, but they're all gonna be very expressive. So I feel like we should celebrate that, and we should, you know, put that up where everyone can see it and celebrate how everyone's cat turns out a little bit differently. Let's go into the top of this hat with some black too. I don't want it to be too light because it is a witch's hat. But you know, a witch's hat on a black cat can be a little repetitive, so you gotta add that variation. I'm gonna do this back side. Okay, that looks pretty good. Let's do another layer to the back tail area. I'm gonna get my brush a little wet. With that black charcoal paint. I'm pulling from the outside in. And no worries, we'll go in with some white and some highlights to kind of differentiate these two sections. And you know, you can see how the hindquarters go back here. So these are the front paws. I think I'm gonna put one of the back paws right here, so you can kind of see it. I think I'll probably make it white though. Cool. Your eyes should be dry. I'm gonna start adding some layers of this light green to the middle of the eye. So we're just gonna do a circle, a light green circle in the middle of this white football. Let that dry. We're gonna grab some red, just a little tiny bit of red for the nose. So I'm gonna clean this brush off, grab a little white, make some pink, and do the nose. Okay, let's get another layer. So So as you can see, we're kind of working around the painting. Like we painted up here, we're letting it dry while we're working on another section. I'm gonna grab white, and I'm actually gonna do these nice big front paws in bright white. And I'm going to do a little white on one side of this back paw. Okay, and I'm going to grab some white, just do some highlights through the cat's backside on this side. Cool. Nice. Let's clean our brush off and add another layer of green, just so we have a nice base color. And then we're gonna let everything dry and do a more detailed layer. All right, I'll see you guys in a few minutes. Okay. Let's grab that 1/2 inch paintbrush, get one more nice layer of white on these paws. Special announcement also, I will have a lot of my Halloween paintings. If you like them and you're just like, I don't want to paint these, what? I just want to watch you paint, it's so relaxing, but I also want a painting. I'm gonna have prints available of a lot of them. So if you ever like a painting, let me know. I can probably make a print of it. Okay, we're gonna do that. I'm also gonna make a row of highlights right here by following that line. I'm kind of making like a line down, but following the pattern, I should say, going down and around. So yeah, I'll have prints. If you want to see it on anything, such as a coffee mug or anything like that, I'm going to grab black now. I can do that. So I'm going to be kind of, okay, right now I am making small downward strokes on the far left side of the hat. I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Small downward strokes. Perfect. Let's get a nice layer for the eyes in gray. We're just gonna kind of, a dark gray, a dark charcoal. We're just gonna outline the eyes with the sharp edge of our brush, or if you don't have a sharp edge of your brush, you can just use a small brush. And on this side, I'm not gonna connect them. I'm not gonna connect these two lines all the way. I'm just going across the bottom. We also need to put a oval in the middle. I might even just do a small oval this time. But you know how cats' eyes are. Sometimes they're very dilated and sometimes they're very skinny. So whatever you want, dealer's choice. Let's get some fun details in with the tiniest of tiny brushes, or once again, Sharpie. You just might need to get a black and a white Sharpie, maybe preferably a thin tipped one. First things first, let's do some outlines on the back. If you can reach it without messing this up, that would be ideal. I'm just gonna kind of outline what I have started, what I have right now for the tail to give it a nice sharp edge. I'm also gonna grab white, clean that off a little, try that again. I'm also gonna grab white and just do some little lines, kind of outline it in a white color. And this will help just break up our pieces a little bit. So like where we put these highlights, we can kind of do like a little wiggle line, as I like to call it professionally, and just a little wiggle line. Okay, let's also do the same for the hat. Nice organic wiggly line. And do one from the top of the hat down. Yeah, and these kind of more monochromatic kind of paintings, I do like to do accent and highlight lights, and like I said, the highlight color, the white, and also black. It's kind of hard to see the black outline next to black paint. We'll probably make this hat part a different color. Outline the hat. I'm gonna go around the brim of the hat first. Once again, like one of the really key, maybe not once again, but one of the key factors in this particular painting is the eyes. So that's going to be like the most captivating part of it, and that's the part that we want people's eyes to also be drawn to. So I'm going to clean my brush and grab some white and do some white accent lines around the hat. I'm gonna do a nice bright line across the brim, just in the front though. I'm gonna also add some white highlights that go along this. Wow, I grabbed black somehow too. Whoops. That go around this side, just to reinforce that shape. The cone. While we're here, you can make this a different color. I think I'm gonna stick with my theme color, this teal. I'm also gonna use a bigger paintbrush, otherwise it's gonna take forever. I'm gonna use my 1/4 inch. I personally don't even want it to be a solid line. I'm just gonna add a few brush strokes. Ta-da. All right, let's go to this back foot with black. We're gonna outline it, roughly outline it. And I also want to put a few toe marks so that when people look at it, they're like, oh, it's the back foot, because otherwise it kind of just looks like a random circle. So a couple toe marks. We're gonna do the same for the front feet. I'm gonna outline them. And with the eyes being the focal point, we're gonna do those last so that they really pop And we can do like crazy eyelashes and whiskers. Whiskers. So yeah, if there's any paintings you really, really love, let me know. I'll put it on something. A few things I can put it on: tote bags. I could make prints. I could do coffee cups, sweaters, shirts, what have you. Okay, I'm gonna do 2 toe lines in the middle that kind of curve towards each other. They go from about the middle of the circle down to the end. Let me get a little more paint. Nice. I'm going to clean my brush off and grab white. I'm going to do a little highlight on the nose. And he's going to have a little white chin that you just see a tiny bit of behind the big old paws. And we need to finish the nose. I like to do 2 layers, so I'm gonna just do another layer real quick. My paintbrush is gray. Ew. Okay. Probably do this with a bigger brush. Take a lot less time. But it looks kind of cool actually, outlining the whole thing in like that dark pink, I mean. And we'll also add a highlight to the nose when that's dry. Let's move on to the eyes. I'm gonna grab this dark blue and green. It's okay if it's not completely mixed. And I'm gonna make some lines with my paintbrush that go around the eye. Just a couple. Okay, so we're just doing lines that go from the middle of the eye, where the pupil is, outward. If you have a little blue, you could grab a little blue off your palette and kind of do some spots of blue here and there. If not, no worries. I'm gonna grab this teal and kind of do the same thing. Just adding a layer to the eyes. Kind of helping all that blend together. Okay, make sure your brush is good and clean. We're gonna grab black. We're gonna grab that black and we're gonna outline the outside of the iris. Not Irish. Oh man, put together. Okay. Beautiful. And we're gonna start doing some eyelashes. This is honestly like one of my favorite parts. Before I do the eyelashes, actually, I'm just gonna, since these eyes are kind of bigger than the last one we did, I'm just gonna grab like a little pink. And I'm gonna put it on the inside corner of the eyes. Okay, and now I'm gonna grab black. Your black, if you're using paint, you should have a little water in there. It should be nice and loose. And we're gonna start from the corner of the eye and move out like that. So we're going from this corner straight out, and we're gonna make eyelashes that go up and over the hat. They're like crazy. This is a fancy cat. Do cats have eyelashes in real life? No. What do they have them in their painting? Yes. I'm going to also do another line I'm not gonna quite go all the way to the corner. I'm gonna go a little bit more in. I'm not gonna fill this area up. But I'm gonna start making eyelashes that go down, down, down. Okay, let's repeat, and then we're gonna go and do some white eyelashes because otherwise it's just too much black. I'm gonna start from this side of the eye and move because that's more comfortable for me, but do it if you want to start from the corner, you can. So I got my eyelash, my first long one. Now I'm going to start making eyelashes that go down. Some big, some small. Yes, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make a line across the bottom. Actually, I'm going to do another line under here. And now we're going to do eyelashes. And you know, one side is going to be easier than the other. And what I used to do, and I've gotten better, so I don't need to do it as much, but you could turn, you might want to turn your canvas if it's not painted or taped on something, or the table, or just try to get, like, catch it at a different angle can be helpful. Okay, let's clean our brush. Grab some white. Let's do the highlight on the top of the nose. We're gonna do a line across the nose. Okay. We're gonna clean your brush in case that got a little pink. And we're gonna do some white eyelashes and white whiskers, because those are really gonna pop with all the black. I did a couple white whiskers going out this way. And now we're gonna do some white eyelashes. Try to make them nice and thin if you can. This will just help draw attention to the eye. I'm going to do a small highlight on the water line. So that's this that's this line that's right under the eyeball. It's a very thin line. That looks good so far. Oh, you know what needs a little white highlight is over here, the back toes. Okay, that looks good. And now it's time for the highlights in the eyes, which is one of my favorite parts because it just really helps the whole cartoon and the whole piece come to life. So the main goal here is to just make similar highlights on both sides, or both eyes. They should match. Because if light's coming down, the eye is catching and reflecting that light the same on both eyes for the most part. I'm going to start with a curved line that goes from the pupil and up the iris on both sides. Cool. And I'm going to do a dot on both pupils. And let me look at it. And then I'm gonna do another line that kind of just goes down. Ooh, that looks so good. What a cute kitty. Okay, we're gonna ground the piece with a very subtle shadow. You can grab this dark color, get it nice and wet, because we don't want to add a bunch of pigment You just want to just ground this top layer just a little. And I'm just going to carefully go under the paws and just kind of bring it forward. I don't always do this, but I feel like this piece, because there's so many pieces touching the floor, I just feel like it will look better. I'm going to bring these elements forward to the right. It doesn't have to be like a super good shadow. But yeah, after each element, it's gonna kind of trail off and fade into like a, it's gonna taper, you know. I think that looks pretty good. The only thing I'm gonna change just slightly is I'm gonna just lighten the nose up a little. I feel like it got a little too dark pink. So I am gonna lighten that just a little. But not even the whole thing, I'm just gonna add a little more light pink to make a nose. I like that better. I'm actually gonna add just a little light pink line. Just faintly. In the corners of the eyes. Very light pink, mostly white. On that waterline. Okay. All right, here's our cat. I hope you guys had fun. That is like really, like I say over and over again, that was my goal. Have fun. Just like let your inner child, let your inner artist have fun. Don't worry about what it's gonna look like at the end. Of course you're gonna have a beautiful painting. I'm always gonna think it's beautiful no matter what. Put your signature on it. And yeah, I'm gonna have painting tutorials like this for fall and Halloween spooky season. So if you're into paintings like this, definitely subscribe, join, have some fun, get some playtime in. And other than that, stay tuned for the reveal. And I'll see you guys here next Tuesday for the next spooky painting. All right, bye for now.